So when it comes to the new RG Cube, I was quite surprised to actually see this thing coming onto the market. With a simple reason, because Powkiddy already released one. I think it's called the RGB30. I can have a brain fart by the way over there. However, the reason I'm saying it's similar to the Powkiddy, because this thing also has this very strange display format. This is more like the ultimate shmup device, or to play shoot 'em ups on the go. But why should we care about this particular model? So first of all, when it comes to the quality, I must say that I was having a little bit of an, let's say, double feeling again about it. There was simple reason because Anbernic is more of the, like say, the higher quality products most of the time. However, they completely dropped the ball when it comes to the, let's say, the trigger buttons, because I did notice some problems with the right and over here, but it is maybe possible we can fix it. But let's be honest, if you're paying 200 around for like a device like this, you don't want to expect any problems whatsoever. Over here, having the volume control, the on and off switch, having the USB-C, the microSD card slot over here, and then the headphone jack. So the form factor, I mentioned that this thing is very comfortable. I really like it. So the beautiful micro switch L1 and R1, and of course the shoulder buttons. The D-pad, yeah, this is quite different. Like of all the, you know, when it comes to these devices, it's always like a hit or miss with the D-pad. Where the form factor is absolutely great, I did notice that the field itself, it's not the best device out there. Where it does have like a very long travel, and the resistance of the membrane underneath is not one of my favorite ones. So over here having the two joysticks, but however, let's power it on and let's see what we're getting when it comes to the software, because also there, they are completely different when you compare this with the Powkiddy. Where the Powkiddy is more like an, you grab it, you buy it, you buy it, you grab it, you know what I'm saying. But what is going on when it comes to, let's say, the software and everything else? So this is more like a hybrid device, normally having the option for having a front end and also can use it like an Android device. Think about your phone. It's kind of cool, so if you're going to be enabling your account on this, you can just play games like Street of Rage 4. Yep, it's actually on the store, and many other touch-based games can be played. I think it's not going to be the best overall experience simply because, yeah, the screen is kind of tiny compared with a 556 or on other devices. Pressing the R over here, we're giving you the front end. It's not the most beautiful front end, but it seems to be working just fine when it comes to this. It's kind of absolutely great to just play all of your games with 8-bit, 16-bit and all the other craziness. However, when it comes to like playing games, I think you should think about getting a device like this if you want to play games like PlayStation 2. Yeah, it's maybe kind of weird to say because we do have this weird resolution, but when you're looking at the power of the device, yeah, it's capable of running a lot of good stuff, but also going to be paying a lot of money for it. So this is actually what it is when it comes to the software and what you can do. You can just get into the Android part over here. Game mode can be turned on and off and having all kinds of cool options. The fan has been set to auto, but you can also set it to different configurations, having it set to, let's say, strong, I love to call it. And with this, at the back, refining the fan, because this is an active cool device. Okay, when it comes to this display, it's absolutely looking great. However, yeah, we do have this marquee underneath because the scaling is otherwise going to be completely messed up. So I wanted to start off with testing out the D-pad itself, and the best game to do is of course with some Street Fighter or Breakers for the Neo Geo. So where this thing has a very clicky D-pad, so far so good, you know, it's absolutely great. I can get out of moves without any problem. So I'm quite surprised, however, it's of course like a personal thing when it comes to this. So if you want to go back to you can use the R button, for example, over here, or we can just use select to start, getting into the game. Like just say I want to do the old game, we can go all the way back. It's very convenient, very easy to use. So, you know, there are all kinds of different configurations you can do with this. So the front end and everything, I must say that's kind of cool. We can also go make a quick load, quick save if you want to, pressing the home button over here. So there are actually two different ways to go out of the game and going back to the system itself. I do personally prefer to have like a bezel on top and at the bottom. It's kind of cool to have the Sega thingy going on when it comes to the marquee. So what it's absolutely awesome to see this game being played on this beautiful display. It's not the best overall solution. And of course for 8-bit and 60-bit we having so many different solutions out there that cost maybe like a fraction what this thing costs. Think about the R35, R36. They're like very cool cheap devices and are just great for 16-bit. Okay, so some of the marquees are kind of cool. So here you can just see that we're having a marquee around, let's say, the Game Boy to give it like the perfect resolution. And this way we can just actually just enjoy the games. And when it comes to the marquees, it's all up to you if you like them or not. So I think it's absolutely a great solution to a problem, because the problem is that the resolution of the display is so weird and not made for games like this. So when it comes to emulation performance, we don't have like a lot of problems when it comes to these basic games. And every single emulator will have their own solutions when it comes to the marquee. For the Super Nintendo, I think this looks absolutely beautiful when you're looking at this very thin, let's say, bezel around the top, or at least the left, right and top over here. And the emulation is no problem whatsoever. So what I did notice, when you're actually going to be playing on this device and you're going to be navigating, it's absolutely great. However, I think the clickish feel makes this not like my favorite like D-pad to use. So I'd rather go to the analog stick, and that is something of a completely different thing when actually going to be playing on this. And the reason why, because when it comes to the D-pad, I'm more like a D-pad old school retro gamer, but I do love the joysticks. In particular when it comes, like say, the way of the feel, you can see that it's very responsive, having very short travel, but you utilize it perfectly with having almost no dead zone when it comes to playing the game. So where normally I'm always complaining putting the D-pad over here, I must say that I'm very pleased that they actually went for the analog stick, because playing this is absolutely comfortable. Yeah. But let's look into some more demanding games like the PlayStation 1 emulator. Native resolution, this runs perfect on a device like this. So when it comes to performance wise, this thing is absolutely completely overkill. But we do have every single button for playing the game. Sometimes I notice like you have these 6-button handhelds that are completely pointless playing some Twisted Metal and many other PlayStation games. And one of the very cool features of the device, and I think the microphone does pick it up, is just the audio quality. Because this is absolutely amazing. But let's look into the Sega Saturn. Unfortunately, there's no bezel enabled for this, but I just still want to showcase. I did hear some minor hiccups. This is just a basic two-dimensional game, so this has not a lot of problems. But I think it's going to be a hit or miss when it comes to Sega Saturn. It's quite a demanding system. But we do have a lot of cool games that we can play, and also the analog stick hasn't been set up, only the D-pad. Ah! The attack of the freaking sheep. Getting into the N64, this will also be a hit or miss, but the overall performance is so much significantly better than all the other handhelds we've tested out in the last couple of years. So we're reaching into the point that we do have the option to play some N64 on the go on the native resolution. So there are no bezels enabled. I personally do like it when there are no bezels, just some black around it, no, let's say, art or work or anything else. So, but you can just actually see that you can just play everything on this device. However, it makes it kind of pointless with the display resolution itself. And this is just the best way to actually play. You don't want to play this game when it comes to, like say, stretched out, because otherwise it's going to be looking very strange. Okay, so this is great examples like how everything has been configured wrong. And I mean, this is a shmup, and maybe this game would benefit big time when it comes to, let's say, emulation and on this weird display resolution. So this has to do because we're running now on the Sega Dreamcast emulator. But the overall performance when it comes to Sega Dreamcast is surprisingly good. And when you do pay a lot of money for a device like this, in the end you do get an overall great performance. You can just even see some N64s playable now, or at least a lot of games now, and even some Sega Dreamcast. With more power, we also going to get not like more responsibility, no, we're going to have like more emulation performance. And getting into some PlayStation 2, I don't mind all of the front-facing buttons. We can even use it if you want to, but the performance of PlayStation 2 is getting better and better. But I understand of like the emulator using at the backhand is not 100% supported by every single game. But we do have reached the point that we can actually play all of these games. or most of them, and that's kind of cool. This is absolutely a great example if you're going to be using full screen on a device like PlayStation Portable. It makes it look very strangely. So the resolution is so different with an original PlayStation 2. So can I actually play it like that? Oh. Wow, that audio is so loud, and it was even on 50%. But just playing on it is possible. So out of the box, the analog stick and the D-pad has been configured. But now I'm just actually playing a lot with this device and notice that my thumb is actually like bashing into the right joystick over here. It's kind of annoying. But you can also see where we have PlayStation 2 emulation. PlayStation Portable emulation is getting better and better. So it's absolutely fantastic to see. Okay, so we have great PlayStation 2, or at least good PlayStation 2 emulation and PlayStation Portable. Of course, tweaking will always be necessary in the future with certain games. However, when you're looking out of the box, we can also even play some Wii games on this. And where, depending on what kind of game you can actually run, do of the Dolphin emulator and of course the support of it. Now it's been stretched to the maximum level. I don't really mind now for now. You do see some hiccups going on. Running on like 30-50 FPS. It will dip down, but it does stutter now. There we go. But I'm quite surprised how actually good runs on the handheld. But if you want to play some DS games on this, it's an option. And it looks kind of strange, but not too in a bad way. Of course, you can also like switch between all of the, let's say, the different modes that go into the menu. So yeah, the touch has still been enabled, so I need to disable that too. But just wanted to showcase how this actually will look when having a two-dimensional or three-dimensional game of the DS platform. Yeah, the screens are kind of tiny now if you just want to play it like that. That leaves us with one single problem. That is my trigger. Can we fix it? Okay, so I've been speaking with the Anbernic guys, and they said if I need something of an, actually an part of it, I can get myself some spare parts. So that's great. I must give them some credits for that. So with most of these Chinese handhelds, it's what you see is what you're getting. If it's broken, you can just better like ask your refund through AliExpress, because there is no way you can get yourself some spare parts. That's slightly better when it comes to Anbernic. However, I think when you're paying so much money on the device and you're getting something like this, it's absolutely unforgivable, because Anbernic isn't not like a new player here on the market. They are doing this for a very long time, and every single month they release one or maybe two handhelds. So let's see if I can just open it up by using my fingernail. And it seems to be that the clicking mechanism is fairly easy, like over the back was very easily like removed. So we can also do a quick look at the inside. So when it comes to this particular part over here, having the battery, does not get really hot. The active fan over here. I must say that throughout this system I've been set to automatically, but didn't hear anything. But let's see what is going on with my trigger over here. So there is like something going on. Let's see if I can fix it. I have this clicky feeling, and I have no idea why they are just doing that. I try to be focusing this. There we go. But so far I cannot see 1, 2, 3 something going on. Okay. Oh, wait, I see what is going on now. Where I will ask for replacement to be sure, I think I did manage to fix the issue. What do I mean? So when you're looking at, let's say, the controls, so there was a little bit of a plastic residue in here. I'm trying to put the screwdriver, and I scraped it off, and now it seems to be working like a charm. We do have the problem in the past that it was like scraping through the plastic, but I don't have the feeling anymore now. So that's great. So we can put it back. Okay, so when it comes to the RG Cube, it does come with a hefty price point. When you're looking at, let's say, the overall quality, and not even to talk about like my button that didn't work from the start, I was unboxing it, and also the back bleeding. I don't notice any back bleeding on my version. So yeah, they need to fix those issues, and it kind of pissed me off, to be honest, when you're looking at the Anbernic, because most of them, like, they have like good overall quality when it comes in the handheld, but they dropped the ball with the Cube. The thing is quite powerful, but do you actually really need it? If you're looking at the Power Kitty, that is actually the competition, way more cheaper to buy, and can actually do like a lot of, let's say, similarities with, let's say, basic platforms. That is something you need to take consideration in the end. What kind of platforms do you want to play? Do you want to use the Android functionality? Because I think that is one of those extra key features, and of course the little bit more power this thing has, so it can even emulate some PlayStation 2, some Wii and other things. A lot of great stuff that we can actually play, but is it really worth the money? That is of course something you should decide. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, and it will be great to see you in the next video.